Mooi. Well, welcome to Voices of Waldorf Elders, an oral history project preserving the experiences and wisdom of longtime Waldorf educators for younger and future generations. Today, in this first interview, I'm speaking with Jan Putkamer. I'll say that again for my English audience, Jan Putkamer, who has worked in Waldorf education for approximately, but I will ask him, 40 years as a teacher, in school leadership role, as a mentor, in advisory roles. And this one is special to me because Jan was one of my teachers at the Rudolf Steiner College in Rotterdam when I was in 8th grade. And years later, when I returned there as a young teacher, he was one of my team leaders. He also became an important teacher, a mentor to Waldorf teachers in Utah, in the United States. So, Jan, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me in your show.
Sounds like a show, right? So Jan, I would love to start all the way in the beginning. I won't joke that that's a long time ago. But I would love to ask before, I would first like to start by sort of setting the stage of how Waldorf education came into your life. But I want to start a little earlier than that. So setting the stage, really. And I would love to ask, could you give me an image of the type of environment you grew up in? What did going to school look like when you were young? What era was it? Yeah.
I come from a Catholic family, so with 2 parents and 6 siblings. So 3 boys and 3 girls, and I was the 5th of the pack.
Wow.
And yes, when I went to school, of course, a Catholic school, a Catholic elementary school, I really don't remember much of it. So my wife remembers a lot of things to the elementary school, but it's sort of blank for me. A few things, but no. Then I went to a Catholic high school in Rotterdam, and then I went to a Catholic teacher training school, not a Waldorf teacher training, but just a regular teacher training school. And so in a sense, I loved school, but I didn't love the lessons, but I loved the social environment. Just being with the students and that was the main thing for me, being with my friends, you know. So
and you say you don't remember a lot. Are there not even certain teachers that stood out?
Yes, there was one teacher, and that was a teacher of the 6th grade. So the sixth grade is in Holland, it's the last grade for the elementary school.
Right.
And then you go to the high school. And in the 6th grade, I remember the teacher, and I remember him because he had a book, and he read this book every day in my recollection. So every day he read the book, and it was a book about the Second World War. And it was called Reis door de Nacht, Journey Through the Night. And I was really excited about that. And at the end of the year, um, he wasn't. The book wasn't finished yet. So I wanted to know how it ended. So I asked my dad to buy me that book because I wanted to read the end. And that's the first book I read.
Wow.
So yeah, and that's what I really remember vividly.
Yeah. And
From
and do you think that is just because World War II? I mean, it wasn't that long after World War II, or is it because of the way that teacher presented it, or the type of images
I
that
think type of images. I don't. Maybe it's the teacher also, but I don't remember that anymore. So that's yeah. And but I really remember vividly the excitement of the story. So
and that's an
and that was
important.
for me the first thing that came to the importance of stories, the importance of storytelling, of reading stories in a child's life. So, and
Yeah.
that was so when I went to when I began working in Waldorf School, I was able to tell a lot of stories because I
Yeah. Yeah.
just told
Yeah. And we're
thousands of stories.
yeah, we're definitely going to touch upon that.
Yeah.
Um, you said it was a Catholic school, a Catholic education. Was it a very spiritual environment? Was it what did that look like?
Mm, it wasn't. It was. It's a difficult question. It was. It was not so spiritual. The environment. In my recollection. Um, um, so yeah, but for me it was important because I went to church, and there was something about the church that I found beautiful, and that was the mysticism, the you know that part of the church I liked. The glass stained walls, for instance, I just dreamt away. So in these colors, I can remember that, and just the rituals, the rituals of the Catholic
Yeah.
Church. I like that.
So I can
Yeah.
see already that there were in your childhood there were certain like threads that became important to your life later as a Waldorf teacher. Um, I want to delve into that a
Yeah.
little bit more, a little bit deeper. So, are there other things in your childhood that you remember or in your school life that you remember that really took you, that kept you busy, that was very, were there any images that stood out?
Um, Not much. I loved sports. To play basketball, football, and that's so the sports in school, that was wonderful for me. I love that. But for the rest, I would say I was a long time sort of dreamer. I dreamt through the school, so to speak. Yeah. So I don't recollect much of the lessons and the teacher. Yeah. Oh yeah, there was one teacher. Yeah. Now it's
Now
coming
it
back.
comes.
So there was one teacher in high school, and she was an English teacher. And she was already very old. I think she was 50 years old, but for us, she was an old woman already. And she was very strict. And so we, as 16 years old, boys and girls, were always very quiet in her lessons and listened very carefully. And so, yeah, she did it wonderfully. Not by suppressing or so, and but just a natural. How do you say that?
Natural authority.
Natural authority. That's the word. So what she did is every lesson she sang with us nursery rhymes with us 16, 17 years old students. And we did that. Unbelievable.
Wow.
In other lessons, there were lessons that the teachers were going mad, and we were awful. We were dreadful. But in her lessons, it was just quiet, and we did everything she asked. And
what do you think? What was that?
Yeah, that was the secret. I think that was a secret, and the secret I just found out many years later, I think. And one of the secrets, I think, was that she was interested in us. And that is the most important secret of teaching overall, also Waldorf teaching. Being interested in the human being, not the student that gets grades or something, no, in the human being.
Having a genuine interest.
Yes. Yeah, and real interest. Huh? So I always say een wezenlijke interesse. Yeah? A real
interest. Yeah.
Interest.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned subconsciously, thinking with these experiences. Yeah.
Beautiful. Hey, and Jan, but then still it is an interesting choice, because you say you didn't remember much from that time, and still you decided to become a teacher and do teacher training. Like, what is that? How did that come about?
Yeah, it's a strange story.
I would love to hear it.
Yeah, of course. No, I didn't know what to do after high school. So at first I thought I want to be a sports teacher, but yeah, I was a little bit lazy in the sense of when you want to be a sports teacher, you have to go to you have to do all sorts of training and things. You have to do how do you say it? Tests,
examinations. Yeah,
and that's and I thought, okay, now maybe it's easier just to go to the normal teacher training, because the our high school, and the teacher training were combined. So it was the same school, and that was easy for me. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna go. And my girlfriend, now my wife, she went also to the teacher training. So
wow! So you followed your girlfriend to teacher training.
Yes.
That's the real story, Jan.
But I didn't fancy to be a teacher or something. So that's very strange. And during my teacher training, 3 years, that was 3 years teacher training, I always got onvoldoendes, as insufficient grades, for my teaching.
Wow.
Yeah, always.
And what was that? Why?
But I think now that I was just bored by what I had to do. I love the children, but the way things had to do with mathematics or I just was a little bit bored, I think. And I thought by myself, now that's not the way I want to do it. It's almost subconsciously, yeah. So and then in my third year as in the teacher training, one of my friends was already working in Rotterdam as a teacher in the Waldorf school, and the Waldorf school was also on Saturday in that time. Yeah?
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He invited me to come in his class to see, because he was very excited about what he was doing and so on. So I went to his to the school there, and he had a first grade. And what I saw there, that made me decide to be a Waldorf teacher, because what did I see? I see a teacher and children that enjoyed the classes, storytelling. He was painting with them. He was singing with them, and I said to myself, yes, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So that experience I decided to be a Waldorf teacher, to wanting to be a Waldorf teacher.
So really came down to that one day.
That one day, yeah. That's the game changer.
Can you describe that a little more? Like, what did you see when you came into this classroom?
That is difficult because it's 50 years ago. So.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm going to try. Now he began with shaking hands, for instance.
What a strange thing.
What a strange thing. But I immediately thought from, hey, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yeah. And then he began singing with them. And I loved singing, still love singing. And there was a kind of atmosphere, an atmosphere that I liked, an atmosphere of wanting to be together, as a group, as a teacher with his children. And then dancing, so circle dances and form drawing, and that's that kind of stuff. And I love art, so that touched me. So that touched my soul, so to speak. And then the storytelling, of course. Yeah.
And just to understand the context a little bit.
Yeah.
So this was Waldorf education in, I guess, the 70s, late 70s?
It was in 1977.
Yeah. Was Waldorf education already very established in Holland by then? Was it something you knew about, or was it in the fringes?
I didn't know anything about it. No, just nothing.
Wow.
Completely blank.
Completely blank. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that was my first experience with Waldorf teaching. That Saturday morning, seeing my friend teach, and feeling the atmosphere through the school also.
And what What did the journey look like from there? So how did you make that journey from that single experience to becoming a
Yeah.
Waldorf teacher?
Yeah. And that summer I got my degree. So, and then, I had to solliciteren.
Apply for jobs. Yeah.
Hoe zeg je?
Apply
What's
for
that?
jobs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, applied. So I wrote one letter. And that was a letter to the Waldorf School in Krimpen aan de IJssel, where I started work. So I went there, and I came there on my bike from Rotterdam to Krimpen aan de IJssel, and I was there with 50 appliants or something.
Wow.
So they organized a day. They organized a day to tell us about what Waldorf teaching is about. So we were there with 50 people, and I thought to myself, oh no, that's not going to work. Who wants me? And now there was a second interview, and there were 10 people left. And there was a third interview, and 3 people were in the race, so to speak. And one of these 3 was me. And then I still have the note. They wrote that they would need to be their teacher, and it was a very young school because there were only first and second grade. That was the primary school with 2 kindergarten.
Okay.
2 kindergarten classes and first and second grade. And I was the third. So it was very young. And there was nothing, only goodwill, only goodwill and a bunch of lovely parents who really wanted the school, So they helped me where they could, and so it was a beautiful atmosphere there.
What did it at the time? Yeah. So really a spirit of starting something new.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, so
pioneering,
Pioneering. That was actually the word that I was looking for. At the time, what did it look like to become a Waldorf teacher? Like here in the US, now you go get a certificate and then you're a Waldorf teacher. What did that look like for you in the 1970s?
Okay, now I became a Waldorf teacher, and then I really knew nothing about Waldorf teaching, really nothing. But in Holland, they had a teacher training in summer course. So that's a week summer course. It was in Zutphen, in the east of Holland, and you were expected to be on that course.
Okay.
And so in 1 week, that was a course of 1 week, and then you heard as much as they could tell you about what you had to do in the first grade. So, and then after a week, you forget 60-70%. You have written it all down, of course, and then you have to begin.
Wow.
But they also had a course during 2 years. Every Wednesday, we went to Rotterdam, and there was a teacher training course every Wednesday afternoon. So I did it also 2 years.
And you really,
Um, yeah,
yeah. Well, I just wanted to quickly touch on, like, I think you really were taught by a generation of teachers that were really it was that early generation of first
yes,
Waldorf teachers, right? Like probably a Lievegoed was still around, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I met Lievegoed. I also met, and that was an important, it's important for me, that I met people that also met Rudolf Steiner.
How was
So
that? Take us, because that's
that's
unbelievable for a generation. For my
yes,
generation, that's unbelievable. Like, tell me about that.
yeah, yeah. Now there was one story I always tell, and that was in Zutphen in the course, the summer course. There was a man, and his name is Daan van Bemmelen. And Daan van Bemmelen was an artist, and he founded the first Waldorf school in Den Haag, in Rotterdam, in Holland, in Den Haag. So he was the founder of the first Waldorf school in 1923. It was. So 4 years after the first school in Stuttgart, the first school in Holland opened, 1923. And Daan van Bemmelen was the founder. So in 1987, when I was young, I was 22 then, I met him in the course in Zutphen. And he gave lectures, 5 lectures of, and the topic was de groene slang en de witte lelie van Goethe. The fairy tale of Goethe, the white snake, and the green snake and the white lily.
Yeah,
He made pictures, he made drawings.
board
And
drawings.
yeah, yeah. No, just paintings. He made, I think, 7 or 8 paintings, and the paintings were there behind him, and he told about this fairy tale. But it was an old man. He was 85 or something. And I remember vividly that he could barely walk, was very old. He walked with a stick, and there was a stair to the podium, and people had to help him to get up the stairs on the podium. And then the magical moment was there that he sat on a chair, and then when he began to speak, he stood up, and you saw him standing up. So, and that cost a lot of energy. You saw that. So, and then he stood there, and then he began to speak. To speak with an enthusiastic, loud, powerful voice. And I can't remember what he said, but for me, that was just yeah. So I said to myself later on, when you become so old and still are so powerful and enthusiastic, there must be something about the school and anthroposophy that is good.
Wow. So that moment stayed with you your entire
Yes,
life. Yeah.
my entire life. That's one of my icons.
Wow. Daan van
So
Bemmelen.
yeah, so you have I have in my career I had a few people, few colleagues that I considered as icons, and that these few people. So, for instance, the painting behind me is from Leo Klein. Was a teacher in Rotterdam. Was also an icon for me. he is also he has worked in America too.
Yeah.
For a few years.
Yeah.
And these people showed me the way.
Can you mention more of, like, maybe with Leo Klein, or some of these things that were handed to you either directly or indirectly by these people?
Yeah. So for instance, I had a colleague from Rotterdam, and he's called Jan Putkamer. And Jan Putkamer for me is also like, what did he do? He directed the kerstspelen,
the Christmas plays, like the
Christmas plays.
Yeah.
So he came from Rotterdam to help us with the Christmas plays in Tripanijssel, because everything for us was new. So, but that man had a really, really sense of humor, and for me that was wonderful, because there was a thing with me and the Waldorf movement that I really thought it is too serious. No, it's just too serious.
I like that.
And I love laughter. And he made me laugh. He had a sense of humor. But at the same time, he was really a very spiritual man. So these two things, humor and spirituality, that I found out through him that it's possible to combine that.
Almost makes me think of the representation of man at the Goetheanum.
In a sense, yeah. So the love for spirituality in anthroposophy, I got it from him, and also the love for just laughter, because that's one of the things I learned during my career, that having joy with children, just joy with children, and really laugh with them, has to be minimum once a day.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay. And then Leo Klein, he was the artist, and art for me is very important. I'm not an artist, but I paint, and I just a hobby. But so I went to courses, drawing courses that Leo Klein gave, and painting courses, and so. And the freedom of that man, there's the freedom in the sense of art has to be in art. You have to be free. You have to feel free to just create. And that's what I learned from him. So in a classroom, you also have to create an environment where the children feel free to create.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. It sounds simple. It's very difficult to do it. I know that. But these, for me, are the essentials of Waldorf education.
Yeah. But I can imagine that you being a completely newbie to Waldorf education in those first years, you still had to learn all of that. How did that go? What did you? I probably know what the answer is, but did you immediately feel like a success? Like,
No. What saved me was my lovely parents, who always helped me. Parents of the children, the school parents.
Yeah.
And my first class, my first grade, my first group of children, who were so adorable and so sweet. I had 12, I had 24 children, 12 boys, 12 girls, and 2 pairs of twins. So it was completely in harmony.
Ah,
And they were so sweet. They were so sweet for me. They helped me to become a Waldorf teacher, so to speak. Yeah. And when I retired, there was a feest, een retirement feest. Hoe zeg je dat?
yeah, retirement celebration. Yeah.
Retirement celebration. This first class, the first group, came to my retirement celebration. So that was 45 years later.
Wow.
So I met them when they were 6 or 7, and they came to my retirement celebration when they were 52.
Wow.
And I didn't know that. It was a surprise.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and it was so, yeah.
Very moving.
One of the most beautiful, one of the most moving things in my life.
Wow. And these people are now also in their early 50s.
50. So now they're 55 because my retirement was 3 years ago. So they're now 55 roundabout.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, but back to those. But back to those early years. What were some things that you really struggled with at the beginning? Like, what was really difficult?
Struggled with?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was really difficult? I had that's more or less a personal problem. I had a difficulties with finishing things. So I love to begin things and just be in the moment and work with the children. But okay, when I have to write things down, I have a tendency to do this, shove it in, and just put it on paper. That was not one of my strongest things. So I had to learn that.
Yeah.
But in being with the children, I didn't find a lot of difficult things in the first 7 years. But then after 7 years, I thought to myself, I think I'm a good teacher. And then I got the second lot. And they were very difficult.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that made me humble again.
Yeah. That's such an important lesson, right? That we sometimes sometimes just when we think that we know our craft, that we get this new class, and it's a humbling experience.
That's and I learned a lot. I think I learned more from the second group than from the first group. For the first group, they gave me the space to learn things, to learn to be a teacher, and that was wonderful. In second grade, I really have to consciously learn to work with antipathy and that kind of thing. And
well, let's dive into that second class. Are there specific moments or lessons that you learned from that class? Were there things that you now consider being essential to what it means to be a Waldorf teacher? that you learned in those years?
Yeah, yeah. But for me, the most important thing was, and still is, that I learned that, and I always say that when I'm oh, never mind. So there are three things vital to teaching overall, not just Waldorf teaching, but just teaching. That is the creation of an atmosphere of safety in the classroom. When the atmosphere is unsafe, the children are not able to learn in a proper way.
What do you mean with safety?
What I mean with safety is that children have to feel that they are safe, that they can be themselves. No, that they don't have to fight for their own place in the classroom. There is no struggle of life.
Good.
There's no Darwinism in the classroom.
Yeah.
So to speak. Yeah. Survival of the fittest, and you can see that in some groups. Yeah. So then there's no safety. You can't be yourself. And then the second thing, what very important, I learned through that second class, but also later on, is there has to be trust. Just trust. Trust from the teacher to the children, but also trust from student to student.
Oh, so it's interesting. So it goes both ways, is what you're saying.
That goes both ways. And the third thing is what I think when you translate it, it is awe or wonder.
Wonder or awe, yeah.
Awe or wonder. Yeah. So there must be in the classroom. There must be moments of awe, moments of wonder. So in Dutch, that is the 3 V's. I always say there are 3 V's: veiligheid, vertrouwen, verwondering.
Awe.
Yeah, and that's in this safety, trust, and awe.
SDA.
Yeah, SDA. And these are the 3 fundamentals for the teacher to be aware of that he sees what is in his classroom and what's needed. Is there a lack of safety? Then he has to work on that lack of safety. And there are many ways to do that. But one of the important things is that he has to see the children.
So genuinely, generally seeing that, yeah.
And that's the first step of trust and safety.
I'm going to put a pin in that, but just for I can imagine a newer Waldorf teacher watching this and finding the idea really beautiful of really seeing the student, but they might ask, like, how do I do that? Like, yes. how do I do that? And yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my the key things I always talk about is that, and that's not something I invented, or it's something Rudolf Steiner said. And he said, all education is in the end self-education. Because all education is in the end inner work. And so you can say the students develop themselves through the teacher that develops himself. Yeah. So the teacher has to be worthy of the children developing. So an example for the children. How do you do that? That's lovely words, but how do you do that?
Yeah.
And how do you see the children?
Yeah.
Now, inner work is for me is one of the important things of a Waldorf teacher. And that you can do that in many, many ways. And Rudolf Steiner gives many tips for the inner work of the Waldorf teacher. And one of the things, now, for you, it's you know that, is that you have to make a connection with the child. Not only when you're teaching him, but also other moments in your day. So, preferably when you in the evening, you think back on the day, and you try to make an image of one child, and just describe for yourself what color eyes has he. Has he a sharp nose? Are his ears large or small? And has he brown hair or blonde hair? And what did he wear? And so just an image, and not he was so difficult, and he was so lovely. No, just an image, and that can help you to make a stronger connection with the child, because the next day you see the child differently, and you see, I thought he had blue eyes, but now really watching, but he has brown eyes, or something like that. So simple can it be? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you make a stronger connection with the child. And now younger teachers maybe thinking, do I have to do that with all the children every night? No, that's not necessary. Just one child for one day in the beginning. And interesting is that when you do that with one child, it also works with the other children. Because they feel, because that's the secret of being with children. They feel your intentions. They can't explain that, but they feel it, because there are millions of threads that go from teacher to the children, and you don't see them. But when you want to strengthen the threads, you have to do something. And you do that from your own free will. That's important. It's not that the head of the school says, Jan, you have to do that. Because, I was very... When people said to me, you have to do that, I didn't do that.
You didn't want to do it.
No. So that's how I am.
I recognize that.
It has to, It has to be an inner free decision. I want to do that. I want to connect with the child. And then that's the first step and that's inner work. You have to make that decision yourself out of free will. That's a free decision. Okay, and then you start to work on the connection with children, and they feel that. That is so obvious for me nowadays.
Yeah,
they really feel that.
Yeah.
And
And
okay.
yeah, well, I love how that makes it very, very concrete also.
Yeah.
So that's the safety part. And then let's move to trust. How do you establish trust as a teacher?
Um, yeah, it's very simple. Just to trust them. Just to trust them.
You mean that you
So
trust them, or but how do
yeah,
you make a class trust
mm,
you?
yes, that's to be always to be honest. Say what you think, and just so you have to be reliable in what you do, and that then the children feel safe because they know uh, when I'm strict. Yeah, then they say, yeah, that's obvious because we need that. Uh, uh, and but just honesty, just pure honesty. I think that's one of the key things to gain their trust.
I remember that in one of the last years that you were teaching, I
Yeah,
remember you handed out a survey to students. And one of the things that showed up on the survey, and I think you asked the question, what makes a good teacher?
yeah,
Very simple, concise question. And I think one of the answers that came out was um, the teacher needs to do what he says,
yeah,
right? Is that what you mean?
yeah, yeah. So he has to be reliable.
Yeah.
It's the same with parents because I myself have three children, and for them I also had to be reliable parent. But also, and that's the other thing. Um, so when puberty comes with my own children, that yeah, there are a lot of difficult things as a parent you have to do. You have to so. And one of the things I always, and that's not what I learned, but what I have in me, is that I always gave them trust. So when things went wrong in school or no, I always trusted them, and I said it. I trust you to make the right decision.
Oh, wow. You would say that explicitly.
Yes, sometimes, not every time. You have to
Yeah.
be sure. But sometimes I really trust your. Even now, my youngest son Peter, he has some difficulties with his work, and he stands for now. He has to make a difficult, life-changing, maybe decision. And I said to him, just 3 weeks ago, I trust you. I trust you to make the right decision. I didn't say to him, you have to do this and that. But just, I trust you, you make. And he thanked me for that. Yeah. So that's what people need. Trust.
Yeah. They don't
Children
want.
feel also. Yeah? So maybe with mathematics, it's a drama for you, but I trust I can make some steps with you and learn you to master that problem or something.
And I can imagine that, especially with adolescents, that can be really powerful. You know, they have that desire to make some of their own choices, and
and they have to make them, and you cannot. So I always said to parents, let them make some mistakes, and don't help them with that, because when you make your own mistake, then you learn from it.
Yeah.
Then you really learn from it, and not by being a wonderful parent that helps the children with everything, because they get lazy and they get insecure and.
Yeah, and so I would love to still talk about that third one. By the way, it struck me that trust can only be built on safety, and awe can also only arise when safety and trust are there. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about awe. What is the place of awe in teaching, and especially as a Waldorf teacher?
Yeah. I went to, it's interesting, I went to a movie just this afternoon, the Odyssey. You've seen the Odyssey, yeah?
I love that.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a fantastic movie, but I was a little bit disappointed. And why was I disappointed? Because same with Lord of the Rings, I had the same experience. I had made my own visions or my own images, because I've told the story of Odysseus a few times in the 5th grade, and I love that story. And now I saw it on the flat screen, and for me it was a little bit flat. Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely.
The story began to become flat for me.
Yeah.
And the awe, and that's where the awe comes in the story, is when you can make your own images. So when I told stories to the children, I frequently saw them in awe. I saw them open,
Yeah.
as like a flower that opens, and that's the essence of awe. Telling a good story where the hearts and the souls of the children open. And I've had some experiences with that. I told the story, for instance, in the first second grade, so to speak. That's in 1997. I had second grade, and I had a student. Was a tiny, small, melancholic child with a small head, a white face, and so, such a child. And I told the story of Saint Francis. You know the story of Saint Francis?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course. Now that's a story you can. I did. Took me 1.5 months to tell the whole story, And that boy, so when Saint Francis died, in the end, I saw him cry a little bit, and afterwards he came to me, and he said, "Meester Jan, when I grow up, I want to be Saint Francis."
That's where you're going for. That's what you want, right?
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah.
So you can say, that's not a good idea. because we live in other times and so on, but yeah, what we give to the children is seeds in their souls that can grow, and they can grow into such a feeling that can give meaning and to your life and can help you through difficult times. So, and that's what's the differences between a good storytelling and a good movie.
You used to tell me sometimes years ago when you would mentor me, you would tell me you would use those words that Steiner, I think, uses in Foundations of Human Experience, where he talks about bread instead of stones. I think for me that was very helpful. Could you highlight that a little bit?
Yeah. Now it's the same as a seed.
Yeah.
So you can, and that's the important thing. It has to do something with digest. So when you eat bread, then it comes. So you put it in your mouth, and you chew on it, and then you swallow it, and then it goes down in mysterious sections of your body, and you don't know what happens there, but you digest it, yeah? And the food is also something mysterious, is metamorphosized in energy, but it just disappears in his or hers. So there's no bread anymore. Nothing. There's nothing anymore. And that digestion, you can compare that with digestion of stones. So you don't digest stones. You go in, small stones, and they go out again after a while. And that's what the meaning of bread instead of stones is. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so simple as that.
Right. It sounds that simple.
Gives you energy when the storytelling is good, because I've seen a lot of storytellers, and storytelling is a craft. It really is.
Yeah.
And so my oldest son, Rein, he had a teacher, one of my wonderful colleagues, Peter Scholtes.
He was one of my teachers.
Yes, was one of your, and he was a brilliant storyteller.
Oh, he was.
Really brilliant. And then my son came home one day, 5th grade, and this Peter had told a story. And the man said to me, "Dad, I saw the story behind him like a film."
Yeah. I remember that very well. He taught me comedy and tragedy in 9th grade, and that is one of my all-time favorite blocks that I had as a child. Absolutely. I want to slowly move into more the later years of your career. You had a long career for a long time as a primary school teacher, eventually in the middle school grades, 7th and 8th grade. And I wonder, did Waldorf education over the years change? Were there things being someone that has seen the entire arc,
Yeah.
are there things that maybe worry you or you wonder about, or has there been a shift that you think that you have questions about or wonder or?
Yeah. There is always development. So a school or school movement is an organic thing that lives and that changes and that develops, and there are coming impulses from inside, impulses from outside. You have to react on impulses from outside, and so on and so on. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing that things change, I think. They have to, yeah, you have to wonder yourself, do they change for the better or do they change for the worse, of course? Yeah, I'm one of the people that don't want to. I never did that to say, so it, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, things were all better than now.
Mm.
That's not true. I always said that is not true, and it is not true. When you develop, you lose some things, but you gain some things too. For instance, when you look at the high school in Rotterdam High School, they were in the time when my sons went to high school, it was too free for them. There were not enough boundaries. You have to have boundaries as an adolescent, and there were just not enough boundaries for my children and for a lot of other children. There was not enough structure. There was a lot of idealism, but not enough structure. And nowadays, you see that there are a lot of, we worked hard to get more structure, more clarity, more discipline, and so on and so on. And then you have to watch out that you don't lose the creativity, the freedom, you know? So it's always, spanningsveld in Dutch. Hoe zeg je dat?
The tension. There's always a tension.
Tension between these two things, structure and freedom. And I think you have to have both things. When there's no structure, the ideals cannot incarnate. But when there are no ideals, the structure becomes dead, becomes bony, and so on. So these two things, the tension between two, that's the work we have to do. How, on one hand, can we nourish the ideals? And that's hard work. You don't want to lose them. But on the other hand, how can we work on a healthy structure? So, and that's the tension you always have. And in Holland, there's another problem because we are subsidized. So the government says, no, the government doesn't say a lot of things, or so we are still relatively free to do some things, but okay, there are some restrictions, so we are not free in the sense of a
private Waldorf school, yeah,
private Waldorf school, yeah, no, but it is for me, it stays an interesting challenge. Because I've seen also private Waldorf schools where I thought, where are you going? And is there maybe too much freedom in for the teachers?
Yeah.
To just go their own way. Yeah. And with some schools, I say that's too much structure, and it kills the creativity.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
Yeah.
Too much rules, too much regulations. So, and there is, I think, for the older generation, the task to nourish the ideals, to keep them alive.
To maybe keep to keep the idealism alive, maybe.
Yeah, and just to study, to work with the younger people, what it's all about. Why do I do the things I do? Why do we do the things we do? Yeah? So, because in the beginning of the school in 1919, there were not a lot of things that were just so Steiner didn't say that you have to do precisely this and that and that. No. After 1 year, I read that once. After 1 year, Steiner talked with Herbert Hahn, one of the beginning teachers, and he said, we have to do it completely different. Wonderful. So that question we have to ask ourselves.
Yeah.
Every year we have to ask ourselves, do we have to do it completely different, or do we have to change some things? Why do we do the things we do? Is there consciousness behind our habits, or are those habits hollow? Because we have a lot of habits in our school. And I've often wondered, but why do we do that? Is that really a Waldorf habit, a healthy habit? Or can you do it somewhere else? Can you change that? Of course you can change that. Always with the right mind, the right thought. And that you have to develop through the study of for instance, Steiner's works.
And I've always really appreciated that about you, that on the one hand, you always ask the question, what is it really about? But on the other hand, you also make sure it's open to change. As long as you're sort of true to the ideas and the intent, you can still adapt to where we are right now.
Yeah. And that's what we talked about earlier. It's so important for the older teachers to give the younger teachers the trust that they can make their own right decisions, because I heard that a lot, from old colleagues. The role of so they were really skeptic about the future of Waldorf schools, and I hated that. Yeah, I hated them. I hated them for saying that, and I said it to them. Because when you, as an experienced teacher, don't have to trust, are not able to trust your younger teacher, then you can say that's the end of the Waldorf school. Because they are the future. They are the future. They have to do it. En it's also een beetje hoogmoedig. Wat is dat, hoogmoedig?
Yeah, I would
in
say maybe a
English.
little bit arrogant, a little bit,
Yeah.
yeah,
So from, I know it. Now, I know how to be a Waldorf teacher, but yeah, I don't think you can be a real Waldorf teacher. That's what you're saying
yeah,
in the end, and that's awful.
yeah,
I think.
yeah,
And I always trusted my young colleagues, and always trusted them to make their own mistakes because sometimes it was awful, but never mind. That's what mentoring is that's what mentoring is all about.
yeah,
Give them trust to think, oh, I can make mistakes, but I'm going a path. I'm just following the path. I can learn. I can grow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful, Jan.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I feel like I could fill so many sessions with you. There are still so many things, but I feel like that was actually a really beautiful point to slowly close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've told you this many times, but you are an incredible inspiration to me. You are a very important voice in my life, both as a teacher and besides that. And So I think it's very fitting for this first session to be with you. I think there's so much in it, and I hope that, I've been having these sessions already for years on the phone with you.
Yeah.
But now, what I would love is for other people to benefit from that too. And it's just also not to make it too heavy. It's just a joy to be with you. Just a fun person to be with. Um, so
No, I felt honored to do this with you, to have this conversation with you, and yeah, yeah,
thank you so
yeah.
much.
So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. This was the first session, and more later.
Okay.